Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mixon back once again, and we've got we've got a little baby type beat for you guys this week. We did no voting this week. Just still cruising through, picking beats that I think will be best for you during the holiday season. So without further ado, I'm gonna play this beat. But with this beat, we've got like some cool things that I just want to like point out. We've got like these piano melodies in it. So I'm gonna teach you how to do like chords like that and how to make it sound human. That's the main thing you'll get out of this video. All right, I'm gonna play the whole beat for you so you can hear what it sounds like. So one thing you can kind of like tell, it's like a lot more fast paced than like a slow like emotional melody. One reason for that is just because how we get the BPM so high, and then just like how the drums kind of make it move. But also the way our chords are structured is a big way. So what we're doing here is we're in D flat minor, so that means everything's like so it goes C sharp is our root note, or it's D flat as well. But because of that, it also plays like interesting tricks. So we have C, E, G sharp. So if it was C sharp, that would be just C, E, G, right? But it's actually D flat, F flat, and A flat. Then we've got our next chord, which is FAC with an inversion on it. So, and the thing about this is actually, not, instead of FAC, it's BDF. But the B is actually double flat. So it goes to A and D flat minor. And then we go back to the C. So it's really just like a 1 up to 4. So it's a 1-4 progression. So G flat and D flat. Those are our two notes, but the way that we kind of like made this really go is we made this like this progression go out faster, so like it sounds different and it's progressing over time, right? So the way that I spice this up is just by chopping the chord here at the halfway point of the chord being there to like make it have some room, and then also at the quarter beat, and then like adding like a little bit of like movement there. The one note I did add is that B, because that would be the seventh of the chord. So it's C E, so D flat, F flat, A flat, and C flat. So when it's together, just creating that movement with things that are in the notes, and then like that's how we can kind of get it to like sound like it's progressing even when it's like just two chords, right? It's just two chords really. That's all we got with this one, and it's like moving around like that. Another quick trick that I'll show you, so you can, I just drew these in. I like have talked about this a lot on my channel, but like basically you just draw on the chords, right? We're in, yep, C sharp. Okay, we're in that scale. So we have our C, E, G, but like these are all stacked together. A way we can get that to sound human is by strumming it. And when you get the strum, you go to the strum from the wrench tool, and then it's Alt S from there. Or you could just do Alt S from here, and it'll pull up the strum. And then you accept it. So here it goes from stacked like that to it makes it sound a little bit better. And then another trick that we have with this is we do a little bit of randomization with the levels. So we like randomize the velocity so that the velocities aren't all the same, and it makes it sound more human. Because when you're playing notes on a piano, you're not hitting every one of those notes at the same velocity because it would be pretty impossible for that to happen all the time. So like that's just another way you can humanize it through like a very, very easy process. Next thing that we added is a top line melody with a violin. And it's just kind of like, it's pretty simple, really. And it follows so it just basically follows the pattern of this, right? So it's following the C sharp and the F sharp or the D flat and the G flat, right? So it's just following that process and going in and following the notes that are there. So it's like, okay, for example, like this E isn't isn't the root of the chord, but it's one of the bass notes that are in the chord. So it like makes it work and gives it like more of a harmony, right? So when it's together, not a note sounds out of place. So like the real secret to like making these kind of melodies is not just by like having like like if you're like making like a rod wave or like a or a Lil Baby or like any kind of like emotional beat that like with an artist that uses a lot of piano, you've got to like kind of like make the piano sound human, even if it's like I mean, hey, this is a Nexus preset. Both of these are Nexus presets that are like stock Nexus presets. Um, I mean, it's like it's a really old sounding preset, but like it's made to sound human when you like play it with different velocity and different like humanization techniques like the strum. Um, Another thing that like can really take it to the next level is a little vocal shot. And a quick trick that I'll say with that is that you can get any of those. There's a lot of different vocal packs that are on BeatStars right now. You can go on to BeatStars. You can just search vocal, and then like you'll find like any number of like different ones that you can get. Each one of those vocal chops like that are in there, like they're only like a couple bucks, and some of them are royalty free. So like you get to use that loop as many times as you want, or sometimes they want to cut, but like I mean, for as like much of a level as it takes it to, it's kind of worth it. Um, so I'll just say that like with this beat, the main thing is that like what makes it go is not just the melody, but like following that structure. It's just like I said, it's just a one 1 4 structure that I inverted the notes, and the reason I did that is just like because if it's like it was like this, right? If I didn't invert the note, it sounds like it's too much movement. This makes it sound like slight movement, but it's all together still. So it's like it's all the same bass note and it's all like kind of moving a little bit, but not moving so much that it's like, oh, this is like a drastic jump. I don't really like how this sounds. Um, the next thing that makes this thing go, really though, is the drums. And so what I'll talk about with that is what makes this go like really like to the next level. It's like first we got our 808s on our root notes, right? Or notes that are within the scale. Because, you know, if you go all the way down to F sharp, it doesn't really sound that great. If I kept C sharp the whole way, it would get a little bland, right? So switching down to A like makes it go a little bit better. And then adding that little accent F sharp for where we were in the beginning. And I just felt like that kind of like helped that with the 808 pattern. Like again, it's all in the family of the chords. Really kind of like pushes it to the next level. It's like, okay, everything sounds like in unison. It's not like, oh, this doesn't sound good together, or oh, I don't think I like this. It all kind of goes together, right? And then I'll say this technique is probably like one of the coolest ones you can get with like drums. Um, it's something that a lot of people have been doing lately, and this is like follows with my clap. So it's like, okay, I've like got my clap going, everything's going like the hitting on the right beat, right? But then you go and you skip the last bar of like that going. Same thing with like any open hats or anything else, right? Like you go and it builds it up. It builds up like some anticipation. So like it built like makes you know that hey, this is the end of this phrase. When you just take out a clap or something simple like that, keep the hi-hats in, it's like, hey, this is still a simple like phrase, or not simple phrase, but this is still the end. This is the end of that phrase, but it's still like makes it unique and different. It's like, oh, this is like bouncing and like writing. It's like, okay, it doesn't have that there. And sometimes just making one little tweak, taking one little noise out, can make all the difference. Going in with the rest of the stuff here, just pretty standard hi-hats, just a little bit of rolls here and there. Didn't do my bounce technique for this one, just because I liked the way that this was kind of bouncing on its own. I kind of wanted that standard hi-hat sound to be like throughout. Then the kick obviously follows the 808. And then we added this little Congo drum perk in the open hats. And the open hats are just every other beat. So like every red one. And then we have like a backing snare with it. I feel like adding that Congo sound too, like kind of like added like another layer of like when the drums kick in for the second half of the hook. I think that like really was like kind of like a nice thing. And then obviously we have our crash. So when you like listen to it all together again, so like when you like, sorry, I'll bring it back from here. So I'll say this, like, so adding that little Congo sound on top of the open hat, because like normally I just add my little open hat and then that's it, right? So it's just kind of nice to like add the little extra perk sound in there because it makes things like, oh, it's all crashing down. This is like kind of a unique sound, and I like that for like some of my like faster beats. It like makes it feel like it's really picking up when not much has really actually changed. Um, Going on with beat structure, just like a regular like intro 17 or 16 bars starting on bar 17 for the hook, 16 bar hook, 24 bar verse, 16 bar hook, and an 8 bar outro. But like as you go in, like I wanted to keep the bass going because I felt like this was going as it picked up. Bring the hi-hats back, bring back that vocal chop without bringing back the violin. And then start bringing back the Congo, and then have a complete breakdown with it where the violin comes back. Yeah, that's like real nice, I feel like. And then let it close out and let the artist do their thing for the last 2 bars, and the hook comes back, and then we have our outro. And for the mixing tips of this, like really just the same kind of standard techniques. Just bringing the EQ to either end where the note doesn't get messed with. So like, because you just don't want the note to sound like too empty, right? See how that like makes it empty and messes with the sound? But you put it here, it makes it sound full, but like forces it in that frequency that it was once in before. Um, then another technique I guess I did that like you kind of like use, it's a panning one way or the other and like making the notes like making the drums into like mono for some of the like bigger ones and like trying to like force it in using just like basic techniques. So like you can get it into mono just by like phasing it like this to the right or to the left. Left makes it more stereo, right makes it more mono. And sometimes you just do that for sounds that are like a little bit like got like a little phase on them, and sometimes it doesn't sound good, and that's kind of like why I did that. Some of them like really needed a lot, but some didn't really need as much. But yeah, like just really kind of force the sounds in with their frequencies on the EQ, on the 808 and the kick. We put some soft clipper in just to get that distorted feeling. So with it, or without it, just a little boost and a little like boost on that kick, right? Yeah. But that's all I got for this week. Just another quick outro on this. We'll have one more week where you guys don't get to do any voting, but then I'll be back. So yeah, we'll go tackle that last beat of the week for you guys, and then we'll be right back here. Just like recapping a couple of things. Just remember humanizing the piano, uh, putting in like real instruments to make it sound real, even if it's just an older sound. It doesn't have to be like the most perfect sound ever, but and then adding a little vocal shop can add like another emotional layer to your beat. I think that's also another like key point. And then also making those drums just thump. That's the way to really get it going. But all right, guys, that's what I got for this video. Peace, God bless, and yeah, see you next time.